Hi, my name is Joe V. Ken. I am producer of Memphis Corporate Community Leadership Measured. It's the first ever attempt to measure the effectiveness of taxpayer-funded public-private partnership initiatives of the Memphis Tomorrow FedEx Chamber Edge Complex. I have a BBA in Finance and a Master's in Curriculum. I can be reached at jkent@pathtrack.net. My phone number is 901-574-4753. The big untold story is over the last 8 years is the wealth transferring retention pilots for the benefit of the small few that have been systematically imposed on a community in need, while using incomplete, bogus accounting at an estimated cost of $100 to $200 million to Memphis and Shelby County taxpayers, while being reported as a $665 million gain by Edge. Retention pilot accounting is also explained with the results in this video, and expansion pilots are also explained, which are needed. Expansion pilots are needed for economic growth. Not all pilots are bad. There are good pilots like J&J and Indigo Ag and other ones that are frequently touted in the media. But this is the untold story: is the retention pilot accounting that it systematically occurred over 8 years. And again, it's done and if you look at policy, it's really a decline by design framework that's authored from the top of the Memphis ecosystem. And really, things are set up to decline. If you look at how things have gone, it couldn't go any other way. So, retention pilots focus on corporate real estate interest. They lock in long-term leases for real estate investors and provide tax abatements to major corporations for existing jobs that already exist in the community. These are not new jobs, but they're existing jobs. So I'm going to show you how the Edge retention pilot accounting works. So a company has direct tax revenue from employees and indirect tax revenue from entities that serve that firm, as well as other economic activity that result from the existence of that firm. And so that's where the tax revenue comes from. This is sales taxes and residential property taxes, and then there's commercial, real, and personal property taxes paid by the corporation. So what happens with a retention pilot is they give the tax abatement to the company that already exists here in Memphis. So they get the tax abatement. And then Edge drags this revenue, Edge drags this existing revenue over here and claims it as new revenue. And it ends up masquerading as economic development here as economic growth when it's not. And this is not new revenue. This is not new revenue. That's like believing that is new revenue is like believing in the tooth fairy. It's just not new revenue. And in fact, it's much like if you were to apply for a loan and you make $50,000. It's like saying you make $200,000 as you're applying for the loan. It's inflated and it's not real. So the entire Edge scorecard, which has been implemented over the last 8 years, is bogus. And that's been uncovered by fully accounting for retention pilots. Now, Edge claims it's a $665 million gain, and that's not true to taxpayers. The truth is when you fully account for them, it's equal to, by one source, Beacon. They say, and they're an advocacy group out of Nashville. It's an advocacy organization out of Nashville, Beacon Center of Tennessee. They claim that Edge retention pilots are a $95 million loss to Memphis and Shelby County taxpayers. MCCL Measured, which is this blog, claims it's a $253 million loss, and that considers lost opportunity costs that would have been afforded if we would have invested in the community as opposed to transferring taxes to Portland, Oregon, and New York City and places like that. So that accounts for that where this one doesn't. So that accounts for the difference. And both of these models can be defended, but it results in this case, a $900 million overstatement by Edge, and this results in about a $750 million overstatement. So retention pilots could be defended if we had above average wage growth of our peers. Now, this chart shows the total wage growth since Edge retention pilots started, and you can see that Shelby County's total wage growth is below the peer average, and it's accelerating. That difference is accelerating, which is a concern. And so that difference right there makes up about a $47 million gain, and this is the average of places like Memphis, Shelby County peers like Indianapolis and Louisville, Kentucky, and Kansas City, Missouri, and Omaha, Nebraska, and Nashville, which Nashville is way up here. It's above average. But we don't compare it to Nashville, which is a boom town. That would be unfair. But we do compare it to the average of the peers, and it's below average, and that's about $47 million there. Now, what's resulted is the emphasis on corporate and real estate, and also nonprofits, is small business vitality has dramatically decreased over time. And this is the ranking of Memphis small business vitality compared to the other 106 metros in the United States. 53 would be average. We started out at 67, below average, and we've gone all the way down here to the bottom. Now, this results from a cultural lack of focus at the Greater Memphis Chamber on small business development. This has been going on for a long time here, and currently there are no small business growth goals or anybody representing small business, with Philip Spinoza representing corporate and real estate and nonprofit interest at the chamber. They asked for like $20 million for the nonprofit epicenter, and so the emphasis, nonprofits in Memphis have replaced small business as being important. And what's happened is the primary drivers of any local economy and small business and also workforce development have been minimized in Memphis as corporations, real estate, and nonprofits have been emphasized. And what this results in, and this graph shows basically what's happening here is this represents people either falling into poverty or leaving the city. So that's what's going on here in this graph. These are really people. And what it amounts up to is about $700 million in total wage loss over this period of time, and about a $20 million tax revenue shortfall, which is part of that $47 million that we spoke about here. So that's what's happened as a result of a decline by design policy pronouncements of the top of the ecosystem. This is what strong corporate executive leadership gets you in community and economic development. Now, who wins with retention pilots? Well, corporations and real estate interests with long-term leases. Who loses is education, public safety, small business, public transit in Memphis and Shelby County. These are your true drivers of economic development. They lose. Now I want to show you how an expansion pilot works, and that's for a new job, new local expansion for new jobs, or recruiting a new company here. So the new jobs don't exist, or the company doesn't exist here in Memphis and Shelby County, and so it comes on the scene. So that's true new revenue. What they do is, in exchange for that true net revenue, they give a tax abatement, and you have true new tax revenue for expansion pilots. Now, most of the time, these are done in the right way. There's some excesses here, but most of the time they're done right, except, for example, the Mark Anthony lost taxpayers $500,000 while Edge pocketed $50,000 in fees. And you can see by that example that Edge is representing corporate real estate interests and not the taxpayer. So anyway, the fee structure needs to be investigated so that the abating boards represent the taxpayer and not corporate real estate interest. So but in general, expansion pilots in the current economic development climate need to continue for industry recruitment and large local expansions. So who wins with a responsible expansion pilots? Education, small business, public safety, public transit, Memphis and Shelby County, and corporations. I can be reached at jkent@pathtrack.net or at 901-574-4753. And also, our solutions can be found at mcclmeasure.net/MRYE, as well as other resources can be found where all the accounting is disclosed on the mcclmeasure.net website. Thank you.